Hey everyone, it's Skylar. Welcome back to my 30 Days of November challenge month. And we are actually on to day 25, so we are nearly there. And this is the last part to this whole piece of paper. And I've decided to choose a movie that I've always wanted to review from the 1970s decade. Now, there's a reason why I wanted to review this film. And it's not because of what the film's about. It's actually the music. I adore the music. This is like my favourite song from a soundtrack of all time. And I will talk more about that after I've gone into my thoughts to the film. So anyway, the film I'm going to do is a film from 1974, and the film is called The Night Porter, directed by Liliana Cavani, produced by Robert Gordon Edwards and Essa Di Simone, screenplay by Liliana Cavani, Italo Mascati, Barbara Alberti, Amedeo Pagani. Story by Liliana Cavani. See, I've got my peach tea for my throat. Yeah, story by Liliana Cavani, Barbara Alberti, Amedeo Pagani, starring Dirk Bogarde as Max, Charles Rampling as Lucia, Felipe Leroy as Klaus, Gabriel Fazzetti as Hans Folger, Giuseppe Aldobalti as Stum, Isa Miranda as Countess Steen, Nino Bignami as Adolf, Marino Massey as Atherton, Amadeo as Bert, Pierre Vida as the Day Porter, Jeffrey Copleston as Kurt, Manfred Freiberger as Dobson, Ugo Cadia as Mario, Hilda Gunther as the Greta, Nora Ricci as the neighbour, Piero Mazzinski as the concierge, Kai Seifeld as Jacob. Music by Danielle Paris. I will talk more about her at the end. Sorry, I just have to charge my phone. Yeah. Cinematography by Alfio Contini. Edited by Franco Arcali. Production company by Joseph E. Levine Productions, Ital Noleggio. Cinematografico Lotta Film Productions, distributed by Italia Noleggio Cinematografico, Italy, and then Aveco Embassy Pictures in the USA. Release date 3rd of April 1974 in France, and the 11th of April 1974 in Italy. Sorry about that. So, movie starts off in 1957. Maximilian Theo Aldofera, who was a former Nazi SS officer who posed as a doctor so he could take photographs in the concentration camps, and Lucia Atherton, who was a Holocaust survivor, had a sadomasochistic relationship. Then flashbacks show Max tormenting but also acting as Lucia's protector. Lucia, who is now married to an orchestra conductor, meets Max again. Max is now a night porter in a hotel in Vienna, and a reluctant member of a former SS comrades group who have been covering up their pasts by destroying documents and eliminating witnesses to their activities. Max has an upcoming trial for war crimes. The group leader Hans Folger accuses Max of hiding away like a church mouse, but Max prefers to remain hidden, but supports the group's activities. Memories of his past punctuate Max and Lucia's present with urgent frequency, and that Lucia survived her relationship with Max. Lucia at one time sung a Marlene Dietrich song called If I Could Make a Wish to camp guards while wearing a SS uniform, and Max gives her a decapitated head of a man that had been bullying her. So because she could testify against him with Lucia being there is a threat to Max, so he goes and sees a former Nazi by the name of Mario, and he knows that Lucia is still alive, so Max kills him to keep his secret from getting out. Then Lucia's husband leaves town on business. Max and Lucia make love in Max's apartment, and Max confesses to the Countess, who is another guest at the hotel, that he's found his little girl again. But the Countess says that he is crazy, and Max says, "We are both the same." Then Folger has Max spied on by a youth who works at the hotel. Then Max gets interviewed by the police about Mario's death. Then he spends days with Lucia in his apartment and sleeps very little. Folger tells Lucia to testify against Max as he's ill, and suggests to Lucia that she is also ill if she allows herself to be with Max. But Lucia sends him away and tells him she is with Max of her own free will. Then the SS officer are mad at Max for hiding their key witness and Max won't go through with the trial, calling it a phony, and says he's only a night porter as he's ashamed of the daytime. Then returns to Lucia, telling her that he was questioned by the police about her being missing and that he was the #1 suspect, so Max then quits his job and spends all of his time with Lucia. Then the SS officers cut off food supply at a local grocery store. Max completely locks the door to the apartment and they both start to ration their foods out. Then Max asks for more help from one of the hotel friends, who flat out refuses. Then asks his neighbour, but she can't help him because of Adolf, which was the youth that spied on Max earlier. Then Max goes back to the apartment and Lucia has malnutrition. Then one of the SS cuts off the electricity supply in Max's apartment. Then Max and Lucia decide to dress in their SS uniforms, leaves the building and drives away, but are soon followed by a car that is driven by Max's former workers. Then Max parks the car on a bridge, and he and Lucia walk along the sidewalk as sunrise approaches. Then 2 gunshots are fired and both lovers are dead because of the gunshots. The end. Now, do you really want to know why I've always wanted to review this film? I like the story where like 2 lovers are from the past and they survived from the concentration camps, and then they find love once again. I like that part of it, and I like the whole story behind it. I like quite a few things behind it, but going back to the music, I have to go back to my little book. The music by Daniel Paris. Daniel Paris. If you've never seen A Night Porter, I'm going to give you a huge spoiler. Daniel Paris was the original person behind the soundtrack, which is da 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 da. So you probably recognise the tune from a film that was made 4 years later in 1978, which is my all-time favourite film of all time, which is Midnight Express, like non-horror wise. So the music is actually from that film, which was created 4 years later. So I adore it because of the soundtrack. I like the concept of the story. the way the film was shot, the way that it was from the past and then the future, and then the two lovers find each other. And I like the whole story behind Max, and that was ashamed of his past and he just wants to try and live a normal life, but the SS aren't letting him. And then Lucia comes back into his life, and then she wants to be with him. And then when they try and escape, they are eventually killed. So it is a bit of like a love story in a way. Which I really enjoyed a lot, and I adore this film, so I'm glad that I've finally got to do this review, and I hope I have done this film justice, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed my review. But before I go, I will give this film a 10 out of 10. I just adore the story, because it's like, it's got that love element to it, and it actually does have a story. The soundtrack is fantastic. Everything about the film was absolutely fantastic. And yep, so I hope you've enjoyed this review. Stay gaudy and have unpleasant dreams, and I will see you soon. Ta-ta for now, bye.